Can Beyond the Game continue their winning streak? Or are the Sunny Lions going to be the one beast that they can't tame? We're going to find out in just a few moments. But Beyond the Game Tetra, for the first time, I would actually say in this whole 2018 season, have convinced me 100%. What about you?
They've definitely looked solid in previous games, but I agree with you that this is a solid team that I could easily believe, if you showed me that series, I could seriously believe that they would be heading to the Eastern Clash.
Yeah, definitely true, which, you know, would be another achievement for them to unlock, because already last year, they participated in countless tournaments all across the globe. BlizzCon, GCWC, one of the Eastern Clashes as well. So, although Beyond the Game had never really been able to get the big results in, they probably weren't too good or good enough at that point in time. Maybe all the holiday breaks and all that time to practice really has paid off right now, and they're going to come back stronger than ever before. However, speaking of stronger than ever before, I'm pretty sure the Sunny Lions didn't really expect them to be in 5th place. Quite honestly, they are one of the 2 newcomers in this 2018 season, and they have taken down bigger fish than Beyond the Game before. As you said, they were able to tie out a couple of games against other really well-known teams.
Yeah, Sunny Lion, they were sort of the surprise of this season. In fact, in the first day that we saw them, we saw Timeflow take their first series of the day. No, sorry, Timeflow lost to no, wait, yeah, this is the game we were actually casting. Yeah, so Timeflow were able to win their first series of the entire tournament against RPG, the ones that we saw, whereas Sunny Lion, they went 1-1 versus Soa, which at the time we didn't think was that impressive, and we were all talking about Timeflow. And then we realized, oh god, Soa's really good now. And then, oh wait, that means Sunny Lion is really good. And they continued to prove that throughout the entire season.
Exactly, and here is the team that we've been talking about. Sunny Lion with Pao, Jaina, who ironically, or basically role-playing wise, is a Jaina main. He plays her so much like more than any other player in the league. We have Phoebe D, we have C, formerly known as Butcher for all the HGC China fans out there from last season, and Yusia, formerly known as, what was his name again?
Can't remember, sorry.
I'll find out, or we'll find out. But
yeah.
Both of those players, they used to be members of KT, who right now, unfortunately, aren't really represented in the league anymore. They failed to qualify through the Crucible. But they have some seasoned players in their ranks, Sunny Lion that is, and most importantly, we can see a player like Jaina here stepping up, playing his baby girl Jaina to maximum efficiency in those highlights.
The most satisfying player name due to the actual liking of playing Jaina.
Yeah.
It's immensely satisfying to see, and he's really good on the hero. A well-picked name, well planned. In this particular case,
It just gets a little tricky when you place other mages like Gul'dan, and then you say,
yes,
it's Jaina on the Gul'dan. Oh, what?
It's worse when the enemy team has a Jaina, which has happened repeatedly. That is very confusing. It was at least better than Butcher on Stitches, which was repeatedly irritating.
Really true.
Either way, here we are going to see the enemy team Beyond the Game. They are 1 win in. Can they now take down Sunny Lion after vanquishing Timeflow? Druid 619, CJ said, LLK, and dancing.
And I gotta highlight, I mean, 619 is labeled as the key player here, but judging from the last best of 5 that we've seen against Timeflow, I would actually go as far and say that Dancing and Druid, those 2 are my personal key players right now. I mean, Druid alone on those supports, playing super well. And not just that, he can play different supports equally well. Like, if you compare Stukov to Malfurion, for example, it's not like they're playing equally. It's just a completely different playstyle, but still, I mean, Druid has been outperforming most of the supports on this playday up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, you literally saw it. In the clip that was highlighting 619, you saw Druid flailing, swiping the enemy team directly into a wall so they wouldn't go out of the mosh pit and would just take the full damage amount from it. So many interesting and good plays from this player today.
Very true, and they're going to need a good support for sure against the Lions, as they will try to pounce on their victims up to this point. We're going to compare those 2 teams in terms of raw stats. From top to bottom, we have KDA, followed by kills on average per game, deaths on average per game, takedown on average per game, and last but not least, of course, the experience farmed and soaked.
I mean, KDA and Experience Farms, which is basically the rest of it just a breakdown, they're identical.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same.
And it basically indicates us towards how closely these two teams are matched in terms of overall power level. The question is, how well prepared are Sunny Lion? Are they warmed up? Because one thing is for sure, beyond the game, they're hella warmed up right now. They seem to have found their rhythm.
Yeah, but warming up and fatigue is potentially a different thing. Oh my god, 60% win rate on Infernal Shrines for both teams. 42% ban and pick rate for both teams. Wow, this is...
Couldn't get any closer.
Just from stats alone, this could not get any closer. And points-wise, it does not represent that. Sunny Lion were on 12 points. BTG were on 10. Which actually is an excellent point, because Sunny Lion actually won less games this season than BTG did in terms of 2-0s. BTG got 4 2-0s. Sunny Lion only got 3. Sunny Lion were only ahead of BTG, because BTG only got 2 ties, whereas Sunny Lion got 6.
There we go. And that is, of course, the cool thing about a best-of-2 league system. A tie always matters, and a tie, if you don't have too many of them, you still need to get your 2 O's, but if you have a couple of ties at hand as well, it could really make all the difference, like it did for Sunny Lion when compared to Beyond the Game.
Exactly. So, Sunny Lion. They are apparently very good at taking singular games, but now they have to take 3. That's all they have to do against BTG here. But once again, BTG, they have taken 2-0s before. They are looking to do so again. I believe the times these two teams met before, I believe it was 1-1s actually between the two. I will double check this.
And look at that ban. Look at the Gul'dan ban. We see this hero being very effective, very efficient on Infernal Shrines. Great wave clear, strong disengage as well with the Fear, the Horrify. And Maiev taken out of the equation. And now comes another ranged poker that is good when it comes to dealing with Shrines, when it comes to chipping down health away from a safe distance. And that is Hanzo, once again, for Beyond the Game.
Hanzo coming in once again. I've just checked. The first time that these two teams played each other, BTG won 2-0. The second time they played each other, as we have a double rotation, Sunny Lion won 2-0. So, again, no clue, no hints as to who might come out on top, other than in the final weeks, BTG were in a bit more of a role than Sunny Lion were. Sunny Lion getting a lot more ties, whereas BTG were able to take wins.
And here goes Jaina for Jaina.
Excellent. And the Uther coming in as well, which is pretty impactful, pretty strong here. We saw Time Flow running it a lot in the last game. This time Sunny Lion taking up the mantle of the Paladin.
Very true. And I don't really know how many games Jaina has played as Jaina for Sunny Lion. I think it's definitely double digits and probably getting close to 20. Maybe you can enlighten us over that. But Jaina plays Jaina. I'm sorry to repeat these names, but I just have to do it. He plays her in multiple styles. Like we saw Water Elementals at the beginning of 2018. But then also players like Molly, for example, from SOA. They stepped in, and when they played with that hero, they introduced a little bit more of the Ring of Frost classic traditional playstyle, but still, Water Elemental is quite a frequent sight.
So Jaina has played Jaina 8 times this season with a 62%.
Wait, only 8 times? Really?
3.5 win rate.
Okay. Yeah? I thought it was definitely double digits.
A fair amount. I mean, remember they only play 2 games a day. So that's actually pretty impressive out of 14 weeks? Yeah, 14 weeks, played 8 in best of 2s. He has Gul'dan 7 times, which is not surprising. We remember he played Gul'dan a lot.
Very true. He's definitely their dedicated mage expert. I think that's safe to say. Like yeah, go ahead.
He does have a couple non-majors on here. Tychus, Falstad, Tassadar, Cassia, and Zarya is definitely the odd one out there.
And speaking of odd things, Tetcher, we are now being graced by the presence of Her Majesty.
The Dragon Queen, Alexstrasza, makes her way in. What was the thing? The Life Binder. That's the one.
The Life Binder.
Was it like Life something? Life Mother? No, that's Earth Mother.
She is the Life Binder, but you shouldn't take it too far and pick it at level 10 because the heroic ability is still a little underwhelming. Let's put it this way. The only exception I would actually put to this rule is maybe if you go Cho'Gall, because then I can see the value.
Higher the health, more value it technically gets. Assuming,
exactly.
unless it's just you being greedy and it's just like you have an assassin who stays in the backline and never takes any damage, and you don't want to die. Just heal me, because it always is the person with the lowest health pulls out.
Yeah, you can use it in both ways. You can use it to save someone, but you can also use it to save yourself if you put it on somebody who's currently full health in the backline. So, Arthas is now being banned there. It looks like Beyond the Game is really going for the bad guys here, for the evil meanies. No Gul'dan, no Arthas. But that, of course, could wake the impression that Beyond the Game could try to go for something like Illidan. Like, when you see Arthas being taken out, a couple of alarm bells have to go on here for not just Illidan, could also be another melee assassins like Greymane, for example, who's been completely ignored up to this point, by the way.
Yeah, in fact, now is likely to potentially be even more ignored as a fairly, not so much counter, but a very effective tool against him. The Cassia has come in here, and the Muradin. With Arthas removed, Muradin, one of the only other assassins with attack speed slow without having to take an imposing presence.
Yeah, that's already a preemptive caution measure here, I think, for Cassia. Like, if they were to go for Illidan or Greymane Beyond the Game, that is, they would have another hero next to Muradin to potentially deal with those. So, while Cassia is not really bad per se, she excels when it comes to dealing with melee assassins. So, I think it's a really solid pick overall.
So, what are we going to see, BTG? Their final picks. They're pretty flexible. Zarya comes out once again. Zarya comes out for them. So pseudo tank, pseudo support, pseudo assassin. Zarya is definitely the every hero.
Yeah. She's the jack of all trades in many cases, but here we see Blaze, and my mind is a little blown right now, Tetcher. There's a couple of heroes that everyone would have expected to be picked, like Greymane, although he was changed a couple of times, still super solid. Genji, very good point. But no, we're not having none of those. We're having Blaze, Zarya, and Sonya. And I think Sonya didn't really do too well earlier when RPG tried to rely on her, but maybe it is Beyond the Game who will make the Barbarian shine again.
They have a support for her in the form of the Alexstrasza and the extra protection in the form of the Zarya. Will it work, though? It's a very creative composition. We did see a Zarya recently in Open Division, actually, which actually went for a Graviton Surge, which was less than successful, but cool.
The thing is, if you go for such a melee-heavy team composition, even a triple warrior, although, I mean, Zarya is not your classic traditional warrior, you're still exposing yourself, or you're getting yourself a little susceptible to the slows by Jaina, don't you?
Yes, Jaina is fantastic against multiple melees. Cone of Cold especially is a great disengage and escape tool just for that little bit of extra slow.
Alright, but I think their plan is just to basically out-sustain them with the burst shields from Zarya, the healing by Uther, and then maybe pounce on them. I could even see a leap being picked here, but also then, again, if you go for Wrath of the Berserker, you could greatly reduce all the time you're slowed, all the time you're stunned, rooted, etc. And that is oftentimes an overlooked aspect of Wrath of the Berserker. When I play Hero League, for example, there's a lot of leaps, but in reality, Wrath of the Berserker usually nets more value. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive into the action here. Game number 1 for the final best of 5 in HGC China for the day between Beyond the Gaming, who are currently on a roll, against Sunny Lion. And in the blue trunks on the left-hand side on Infernal Shrines, we get to see the Sunny Lion team with Power on the Uther, Jaina on Jaina, Phoebe D on that Cassia, C is playing Muradin, and Justia is going for that Blaze.
One of his favorites, a really solid choice coming in here. And on the right-hand side, they've taken down one opponent. Can they do a second? Beyond the Game. Grid on the Alexstrasza, 619 on the ETC, ZJZ on Zarya, LLK on the Sonya, and Dancing is playing on the Hanzo.
I remembered Justia's former nickname. It was Lias. And he used to play for, I think it was Hot's Lady, then he switched over to KT, and now he's with Sunny Lion. So, technically speaking, it's his 3rd season of HGC in China. Quite impressive.
But now, as the game begins, quest stacks are the name of the game. ETC is dead alive.
Oh no!
Game
What?
dead. There we go.
That probably had to be the longest circle I've ever seen. It just wouldn't want to proc, right? Poor ETC.
It healed him. He just didn't have enough health.
Oh.
But yeah, we have the prog rock. We have the Q build coming in from Hanzo, Q build from Zarya, and Abundance stacks coming in from the Alexstrasza.
Abundance builds on Alexstrasza are not bad per se, but I would always advise to use them with caution, because oftentimes when you face strong AoE damage or a strong AoE crowd control on the enemy side, it could actually backfire. While the healing is great, the enemies could capitalize on everybody standing clumped together in a circle. Speaking of capitalize on somebody's mistakes, that Sonya was definitely out of position. Easy pickup for the Lions once again. But yeah, if everyone groups in the circle, oftentimes abilities like Horrify, AoE damage, like the Jaina for example, could really punish you hard. Like one Blizzard is all it takes to deny any abundance value.
Exactly. It can be incredibly rough, and also it does mean that you are all in a wonderful circle for Blaze stuns, which would be the go-to here as the engage tool.
That is an excellent point. A hero that we're quite used to see in Europe, especially in the Open Division, I was noticing that hero a lot, especially when played against Alexstrasza, is Junkrat.
I don't think it's allowed currently, I'm not sure.
No, I was basically looking at our discussion, and we don't have the bug anymore. So we should be good. But yeah, you mentioned a good point, with, of course, there being a bug with Junkrat, him not being allowed, but what about Open Division? Have we seen him a lot there?
Yeah, when he's been available, he is picked up consistently. His damage output is kind of crazy, and the engage potential is brilliant.
Alright, so keep in mind, guys, when you play with Alexstrasza, make sure that Junkrat is either banned or can't be picked, because otherwise the draft wouldn't make any sense anymore. In the meantime, though, engage on Zarya. No body blocks, though. She could be fine. The shields are good, and it is now Sia the Burden who's taking a lot of damage here by minions, mercenaries, and heroes alike. He gets out to safety, though.
So close.
Just barely.
Minions not able to get in range, and the Shaman was distracted killing other minions and aiming at other heroes. But as such, Muradin survives. You can see his trait taking effect, healing him back up nicely.
Alright, a clutch moment there for Muradin. Meantime, he is back C in full pursuit here. So is 619 trying to go for that power slide. Hitting two, nailing them down.
And down goes BD, the Dragon Queen is procced, as well as we see BTG easily driving Sunny Lion back off this objective. But Sunny Lion still soaking. They have a pretty significant XP advantage at this point.
And that is the beauty of the Dragon Queen. Once that trait, almost that heroic ability because it's so impactful, once that ability gets popped, oh, never mind, here we see a chase on the cow, stun galore, and the ETC is no more.
Fox slows so much crowd control. Able to pick up HGC, which is pretty good, going to give themselves a Sunny Lion a pretty big boosted experience, and as such, they actually do take a lead here.
Yeah, maybe they could have waited at 39 skulls until ETC would come back, but I guess the early game Punisher isn't really that impactful in the first place, so they may as well just pull the trigger now. And especially the Arcane one shouldn't really be kept too long. Like, you definitely want to get that early game value as fast as possible so you can snowball ahead from there. Sonya already taking care of the middle lane as well, so they don't miss out on experience. But although the Punisher was taken, guess who's still in the lead? It is Sunny Lion.
Yep, they continue to soak. They defend the Punisher pretty effectively without it doing too much damage. Sunny Lion, very slow, methodical lead they're getting here. Jada dodges the power slide, gets caught in the face.
Huge body block
is beautiful. Please tries to find an alternative escape route, but cannot do it.
Wow, that was an MVP play by 619, really using his massive Tauren body to block the Jaina and preventing her from escaping. But also, I think it was a mistake by Jaina herself, not trying to use the other flight path. Like, the moment you get body block, you're trying to run towards the tower, and you're not trying to squeeze your way past the ETC, right? Because he's just too thick to really get past.
Yeah, the body is too large for Jaina to fit past, even with the small hitbox that Jaina has, and I think that was the idea, Jada was hoping, maybe there's a gap I can get through. If you turn around, you're going to run into the entire enemy team. It's very much a split-second decision. It might have been the wrong choice to not turn around instantly, but it was very much a lose-lose situation there.
Exactly. 3 Talons, all going for the abundance. Now, if completed, we're going to have a region globe, which is oftentimes the reason why, never mind, look at Alex Rasa, she won't be able to save Hanzo this time. Also, no walls nearby for him to jump over. But back to what I was trying to say, that's oftentimes the reason why we see Diablo being picked with Alex Rasa in the same team composition, because a guaranteed globe after completion will oftentimes mean that Diablo can start a team fight with a massive region going in his favor. But Diablo, speaking of it, he's been completely neglected in HGC China.
He has. He's been picked like once or twice, but he's very much in the Diablo. It definitely has a toll because I saw it earlier while I was using stats. But once again, like you said, he's very significantly rarer. Along the lines of Arthur's, not so much of a Nubrak. A Nubrak's picked a little bit more.
Yep. 619 trying to interrupt the rotations, maybe, but he also got valuable information. But look how smartly and cleverly Sunny Lion are playing the map. They're using the distraction of the bottom mercenary camp, to immediately rotate to the opposite side of the map and take another mercenary camp. So cheeky, so sneaky that I don't think Beyond the Game was even expecting it. They weren't even trying to get there.
Yeah, they have their heroics now, and that would have been the issue. If BTG had moved in, they would have run into the heroic Sunny Lion. So as such, Sunny Lion steal the mercenary camp and then begin taking their own. But now BTG with their own mercenary as well. ETC holding his heroic finally picks up the mosh pit, cleansing flame, expulsion zone, dragon arrow mosh pit, and the wrath of the berserker. And then we have Sunny Lion with currently very little out of the ordinary. Ring of Frost over Water Elemental, that is actually worth mentioning here in China. Yep. Water Elemental significantly more popular, and Cassia gets a pick, holding just in case a Valkyrie is required.
Yeah, Valkyrie, there's a lot of susceptible targets actually. Azaria and Alex Rasa, even a Hanzo, if there's no walls nearby, could all be juicy targets for a Valkyrie assault. Now, it's a little scary for Sunny Lion here to fight though, isn't it? They have so many abilities to face, like the Mosh Pit, the Dragon Queen. I'm not really sure if they can go for it.
They're still planning on fighting here. Bunker is used. Power Slide into the backline. Expulsion Zone splits the team a little bit here. ETC just getting chunked and CC'd. As Zarya, though, is the first one down. There goes Cassie, and his J619 is so low. Druid heals him up, though. That's why nice to disengage with that wind buffet. Then turning it around. Druid value here on this Alex Strasser, shredding through Ustia. They finally finish him off through that Jada Blizzard, and Dancing is looking for C. Goes the wrong way. C is able to escape. But
the blind dragon. Unfortunately, going the wrong way here. He expected Murden to turn right on his escape, but he turned left after all. But here we see the bunker. Look at some of the Sunny Lion members. So I think they could have used the bunker a little bit more here, especially the Divine Shield on Blaze was maybe not necessary. It could have been used on Cassia if Blaze had just done a little bit more bunker micro. Here, the heals from Uther, the self heal as well, keeping him alive for so long. They did what they could, but in the end, we mentioned the cooldown superiority here for Beyond the Game. So many triggers for them to be pulled.
So the Valkyrie was in the end picked up for the Cassia here, but didn't get too much value in that fight. And once again, Druid, come on. Such an MVP for the day for BTG, but Sunny Lion, they still hold an XP lead. Finally, we're seeing a BTG splitting up into lanes. This might catch, they've managed to catch up in XP, and this might give them a slight lead, but Sunny Lion making the most of the experience. They're stealing the Khazra camp, they're still soaking, they're keeping up, they're losing every objective and every fight, but somehow they're still in it.
And here's the Valkyrie, by the way. We talked about the potential value of Valkyrie engages. I'm really curious to see which target Sunny Lion is going to focus on the most here. Probably the Alex Rasa. You just want to make sure that she doesn't have Cleansing Flame available, or the Dragon Queen, because both of those abilities could potentially save her, even if she gets successfully put into the backline.
See Power sliding away with that face, of course, from Zarya, keeping himself safe, but also attempting to still use the extra movement speed that Zarya did offer him just there to try and zone out enemies a little bit more, which he was able to do effectively. Both teams have level 13. They're in no rush to fight, but they will take it if it is presented to them.
Exactly. So, what can we do here with Sunny Lion? That is the question that they need to ask themselves. The previous team fights didn't look so good near the shrine, but whenever they didn't fight on the shrine, they looked much more impactful. We see Icy Veins coming in for Jaina as well. That is, of course, going to amplify the damage output quite a lot here. A well-versed team like Beyond the Game, though, can realize, okay, Icy Vein was activated, let's just retreat and wait until the iteration is over.
GG's taking out the Fallen Shaman camp once again, keeping the pressure onto the top lane. Well, Blaze, though, he's in pretty decent position to clear it. He does not have the extra bonus damage to non-heroics. And 619 is Valkyried in, but Alexstrasza was easily positioned. Sonya's in a much better position, though, into the backline, shredding through BD, who has to get Divine Shielded. LLK takes a little bit of damage. The ball, the extra shielding onto Dancing gets him easily out of range of C, who is very far forward. And Jaina, the only one to fall in this fight. C may join her, though, and the damage is dropped, but Avatar is popped, and that will get C out.
Alright, Beyond the Game dropping low in HP, but we still have Alexstrasza doing pretty well, and without Jaina, I don't think there's going to be enough damage anymore now. C thought he was safe, but there goes Sonya and takes out the dwarf with furious blows. Beautiful stutter stepping there as well, basically denying the escape route for Yusia, who's trying to charge away, but the bunker is here to save the day once more. Now, Ring of Frost is still available, and the Shrine will be activated in 15 seconds.
Jaina has returned from her recent trip to, well, death at the Hall of the Storm. She's actually going to run top, though, grabbing her team 15, clearing out that Fallen Shaman. Unattended Fallen Shaman camp will very likely kill off multiple buildings due to its consistency. Not just its damage, it's not like Siege Giant camp, but its consistency and ability to hold back a minion wave.
So, 619 leading the charge here, taking a mercenary camp and what looks to be another shrine for Beyond the Game. The sheer power of all the cooldowns they have available seems to be too much for Sunny Lion to handle right now. And as we continue into this game, Tetra, the more time goes by, the more of a problem those Punishers are going to be. Because admittedly, you know, the first couple of those Punishers, they could use a little bit of supplements in their, you know, daily routine to basically hit a little bit harder, but the ones that come later, the ones that come after, like this one, they're going to be able to inflict some heavy, heavy damage.
Yeah, you're not going to get the perfect Punisher body just by working at it for a couple weeks. You need to commit to that Punisher routine, and as such, you will be able to get yourself a nice, strong Punisher.
If you take a very close look at those Punishers, do you think they would skip leg days? Their arms are way bigger than their lower parts of the body. Just saying.
I think that might just be the fact that they are demons. So I will that. As we do see the Punisher leaping in. Nice cleanse onto Blaze. He's able to move in. In fact, using the bunker, him and Muradin dancing in and out. Here comes the Cleansing Flame. The boss bit's really good by 619. And even the Cleansing Flame damage on top of it. Yusi is killed off by Sonya. And BTG wrecking through Sunny Lion here. They are looking for this keep. C, though, is in the way. The Punisher very healthy. C just tanking through it all, but
Tetra, this could be game.
Like, he can't do anything else, though.
The Draconic Discipline at level 16 for Alexstrasza allows you to still be in dragon form. Massive healing. Everybody's full mana, almost full HP as well. The Punisher is still alive, and the core falls rapidly. This is going to be GG. The Lions fell like kittens to the onslaught of Beyond the Game, and they are just on a roll right now.
Very, very effective play by BTG. They won every single objective. They won pretty much every single team fight. That was a good performance. Great use of their composition, controlling those objectives every single time.
Wow. Wow, that Alexstrasza basically almost single-handedly dominated every single shrine fight. And if you don't win any shrines, sure, that won't hurt you too much in the early stages of the game, but it definitely is going to hurt you in the later stages. And that's exactly where Beyond the Game just also knew how to end the game. It's one thing to do well in the first 10-15 minutes, but it's a completely different task sometimes to also be able to close it out in style, and that's exactly what they did. No mistakes.
Yeah, no mistakes at all. Just well played BTG once again. I still feel pretty confident in saying I think this team, if they keep up this, have a chance. I'm not going to say I feel confident in them doing it. I say they definitely have a chance. The One and Asoa are not easy to beat, but they could do really well. They just look so now.
Very true. Very true. I mean, I'm just so happy for Beyond the Game. Well, I'm also a little sad for the Sunny Lions because they definitely did expect a little bit of a different start into this best of 5, but Beyond the Game, so many people gave them flack for not really, you know, doing well. They thought it was like a one-hit wonder, if you will. Last year, you know, they were lucky, they qualified to a couple of tournaments, they didn't really do so well, and then in 2018, yeah, we see what their true shape looks like. But no, they proved all the haters wrong, basically. They came back swinging, and I'm just very happy for them to really show us a glimpse of their former glorious past.
However, not over yet. Sunny Lion, chance is the best of 5, remember.
Oh, absolutely.
And as such, Sunny Lion have the opportunity to win 3 in a row, or even they can still afford to lose 1 more.
I mean, RPG showed us